19. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 8th and last place in the Central Division. After 13 games skated on the season, they have a record of 5-8. They have 10 points. They are 7 points out of first place. They are 3 points behind their next opponent, the Arizona Coyotes, also in the Central Division, of course. And they are tied with the Blackhawks with 10 points. We'll go down the entire Central Division here in just a second. But the Preds currently find themselves in 8th place in the Central Division. We'll start at the top of the Dallas Stars at 17 points, a record of 8-3-1. They've skated in 12 games. The Avs in second place have skated the same number of games, and their record is 8-3-0. They also have 17 points. The Winnipeg Jets have skated in 13 games, 7-4-2, have 16 points. They are residing in third place. The St. Louis Blues are in fourth place with 13 points. The Arizona Coyotes have 13 points. Minnesota is at 12. Chicago Blackhawks are 10, and then the Nashville Predators at 10. The next game for the Nashville Predators will take place on home ice. They have a record of 3-2 on home ice. The Preds have scored 37 goals this season. They've given up 42 goals against. Their next opponent, the Arizona Coyotes, currently in 5th place in the Central Division, have a record of 6-1, 13 points on the season. On the road, a record of 2-4-1, 42 goals scored on the season, 37 goals given up on the season. So that is the direct inverse of the Nashville Predators numbers in that particular category. It's the first of 4 meetings between the Nashville Predators and the Arizona Coyotes this season. Now, once the Preds are done with this game with the Arizona Coyotes, a nice long homestand, which is hopefully exactly what they need to help get them going in a better direction. Tuesday, first game of the year against the Anaheim Ducks at Bridgestone Arena. Saturday, the Chicago Blackhawks in town, first meeting of the year between these two teams as well. And then the 20th of November, Colorado Avalanche at Bridgestone Arena. The 22nd of November, the Calgary Flames at Bridgestone Arena. And the 24th of November, the Preds' next road game in St. Louis. Now, I mentioned 4 regular season games between the Preds and the Coyotes. They won't play again until January the 20th, when the Preds will be in Arizona, first of 2 trips to Arizona this year. Arizona comes back for their second trip to Bridgestone Arena on February the 10th, and then on March the 28th, the Preds will be in Arizona to face off against the Coyotes one last time out there in the desert. Now, before we get into the Coyotes, let's update you on the injury situation for the Nashville Predators. We do have some updated info from the end of the road trip. Schenn is still on IR, and, quote, it'll be some time before he's ready to return. That's the first indication we've gotten about anything involving Schenn's injury, which took place in the first game of the regular season all the way back there early in October. Glass is, quote, getting better, perhaps ready to return soon, but still on injured reserve. Ryan McDonagh, day-to-day, could be back in the lineup as soon as the next game, but that is what day-to-day means. But the Nashville Predators certainly suffered without McDonagh in the lineup out there on the blue line. His leadership as well has certainly been missing in these last few games. Now, for the Arizona Coyotes, they come in with a record of 6-1, 5th place in the Central Division. Their most recent stretch of action, let's go back and talk about their previous 5. On November the 1st, it was a 4-3 overtime loss in Anaheim versus the Ducks. Followed that up the next night with a 3-2 win versus the Montreal Canadiens at home. That's a tough back-to-back right there. 11-4, it was a 5-3 loss versus the Winnipeg Jets. On the 7th of November, a 4-3 shootout win versus the Seattle Kraken. And most recently on November the 9th, a 2-1 loss at St. Louis. Vejmelka took the loss in that one, 31 out of 33 in that game. When it comes to the matchups in the NHL rankings between these two teams, the Nashville Predators goals for has been steadily dropping over the course of the CMA road trip. 2.85 per game is now down to 23rd in the NHL. The Arizona Coyotes off to a nice start, generating 3.08 goals per game. That's 18th best in the NHL. When it comes to the goals against category, again, the Preds are slipping. They're slipping in almost every single metric since the beginning of this CMA road trip. Goals against for the Preds now 3.23 is down to 18th in the NHL. And the goals against category for the Arizona Coyotes, 2.85 is 10th best overall in the NHL. Shots for, and I'm not going to continue mentioning it every time, but again, slipping in this particular metric. Now under 30, 29.8 shots on goal per game, where the Predators were near the tops of the league through the first 5-6 games of the season. 22nd overall is where they have fallen to. In the shots for category for Arizona, not any better. 28.4 on net per game is 25th in the NHL. In the shots against category, Nashville giving up 30.8 per game. That is 16th overall in the league, while Arizona is giving up 31.8. That is 22nd in the NHL. Special teams, Arizona has the better of the special teams groupings here. Let's start on their side of the ledger. 27.5% power play rate is 6th best in the league. 14 out of 51 is the raw data. The Nashville Predators power play converting at 20.4%. 11 out of 54 on the season is 15th in the NHL at this time. On the penalty kill, 75.5% kill rate for the Coyotes is 21st best in the league. They've given up 12 power play goals against on the season. The Nashville Predators are almost dead last in the league in penalty kill at 69.8% is 31st. They have given up 13 power play goals against on the season. Every team in the NHL has plenty of high-skilled individuals, so we always like to go through the top statistics for the top 5 on each team, plus the anticipated goaltender matchup. And the anticipated goaltender matchup for this one is a really good one. So let's start with the home team, Nashville Predators. We haven't had a chance to say that in quite some time. The Preds CMA road trip gone for almost 2 full weeks on the calendar. Now finally back at Bridgestone Arena. Philip Forsberg leads the team in scoring 4 goals and 10 assists for 14 points, still above a point per game pace, which is absolutely fantastic for Philip Forsberg. If he can remain healthy and consistent like this, he could be set up for a career year in points. Ryan O'Reilly, 7 goals and 4 assists for 11 points. Tommy Novak has 6 goals and 4 assists for 10 points. The captain, Roman Jossi's at 2 and 6 for 8. And Luke Evangelista, 1 goal, 7 assists for 8 points. Got to start talking about him as a potential Calder finalist later this season. But Luke Evangelista off to a very good start for the Nashville Predators this season. Go over to the other side of the ledger, the visiting Arizona Coyotes. Schmaltz leads the team in scoring with 4 goals, 9 assists for 13 points. Keller's got 5 and 7 for 12. Michelli's at 2 and 8 for 10. Krause 5 and 3 for 8. Krause usually plays pretty good against the Nashville Predators. Durzee's at 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points. Now, in net, wanted to make this matchup happen. Maybe I just wanted to speak it into existence. Connor Ingram, 4-1-0 on the season, a 9.19 save percentage, a 2.47 goals against average. So, of course, former Nashville Predator Connor Ingram, UC Stars, and beloved still by the fan base here, which is why I would like to see him get the start at Bridgestone Arena. I also think he would compete incredibly hard against his former team in the Nashville Predators. UC Stars at this point in the season is 4-7, a 9.05 save percentage, a 2.96 goals against average, and really took a pretty bad beating over the course of the road trip that the Nashville Predators have just concluded. Getting back to the home rink hopefully is going to fix a lot of things. The CMA road trip is something that usually brings the team together. They gel a little bit, but this year it is not to be. New head coach, a lot of new players, and the results of coming together over the course of this 2 weeks on the road in this 5 games, it just was not there. We have to get back into that and recap Game 5. It wrapped up in Winnipeg. It's the Rebirth Sports full game recap, and we've got to get to it. It's coming up right after this break on the Renegades of Puck podcast.